Hi everyone, my name is Suzanne and I'm a Chinese metaphysics master in Hong Kong. I've received a lot of questions from people asking what the difference is between date selection and Qimen Dunjia. Because as you've seen in my videos, I post a lot of Qimen power dates or power hours. And so that can cause a little bit of confusion as to whether that's actually date selection or Qimen Dunjia or what the difference is in general. So I'd like to take this opportunity and clarify a few things and point out some of the most important differences between the two. Now, while Qimen Dunjia can be used for a lot of things other than just finding a power hour to do certain meditation practices, date selection in and of itself, as the name implies, selects a date for a particular activity. And so the traditional art of date selection looks at key events in your life, like what you see here on the screen, a good date for a marriage proposal or the marriage itself, move-in dates, commencing of a business. And when it comes to feng shui, we also choose a good date for bed placement or bed rearrangement, for example. So we look at the date as a whole in terms of the 24-hour time frame and check which date overall has the best stars, auxiliary stars, or energies fitting the activity you want to perform. Now, aside from looking at the auxiliary stars and energies that are present during a particular date, we then also take you as a person into account and check how you personally interact with this particular date. Because even though a date can be really good in terms of auxiliary stars and energies for, let's say, assuming a new position or a new role or a career change, for you, it may not be the best one because maybe the date itself clashes with you. Now, in such a case, we can then say, yes, it's a good day or it's a good date for a career change or for assuming a new post. But for you, it's likely going to be tied to a few unpleasant events because the date itself is clashing with you. So in date selection, we look at the day's energy as a whole and then how it matches with you personally to find the best date for you. Now, in terms of activities that are most prominently looked at in date selection, you've got a few here on the screen, and then there are a few more here. So you see it's important activities that don't happen every day, right? So it's not routine activities. You don't get married every day or every month, hopefully. Yeah, doesn't happen too often. Ideally, that only happens like once or maybe twice in your lifetime. Um, Renovations also, we don't want to happen too frequently, but when they happen, it's quite an important thing. So you've got to make sure that they work out smoothly. Spiritual ceremonies, obviously, we need certain energies that are present on this particular day to make sure that the date itself is conducive to connect with the universe, for example. And then anything to do with a burial or with a funeral. Obviously, there are different activities within that date, but anything to do with funeral rites or funeral activities, also something very important in terms of date selection. So we look at the day overall, what kind of energies are present. And assuming then that we found a date that has auspicious energies for the activity that you want to perform, and the date is auspicious for you personally, so you benefit personally from whatever activity and energy is present, then within that 24-hour time frame, we can use Qimen Dunjia to isolate the hour that is most auspicious for the activity you want to perform. So first, we zoom in. First, we look at the big picture, and then we zoom in on the hours that are actually usable. Now, most of the times we have to exclude all the nighttime hours because you're not going to go on a networking event or you're not going to plan a funeral in the middle of the night. So we mostly then take the hours that are present during daytime and check from a Qimen Dunjia perspective, which is a power hour. So which hour has the best energies that could amplify the day's energies to make this even more auspicious and really help you reach the goal that you want to achieve, or even just make sure that it's just a smooth celebration or a smooth procedure of whatever it is you're doing. Now, when it comes to, let's say, a marriage date, now again, that is a full day event, but you're likely not going to have um, an important activity within the marriage date every single hour. So the exchange of vows is an important activity, of course. Then you've got the signing of the marriage certificate, and then maybe the beginning of the wedding banquet. You know, these kind of things. These are isolated important activities within the day of your marriage or of your wedding. And so for those, we then check Qimen Dunjia Power Hours and isolate the ones that are best to do these activities. So that's a little bit of a difference, or one of the differences between traditional date selection and Qimen Dunjia. The date overall matched to you, plus then layered on top the power hour or the best hour that can amplify the day's energies even further. Yeah, so it doesn't always match. When it does match, that's ideal, obviously, and we like to see that. So we really always try to make sure that we can layer both sciences on top. But even if you just find a good date for an activity, you already know that the activity you're performing is infused with good energies. If you don't find a good date, but you can find a Qimen Dunjia Power Hour, then at least on a micro scale, you can still benefit from some positive energies. Ideally, we like to match them and use them hand in hand, but obviously you can use them in isolated form as well. And when it comes to Qimen Dunjia, obviously there's many different applications, not just the identification of power hours. There's many different things as well, but this is one. And I hope I cleared up some of the questions related to date selection and Qimen Dunjia. So if you have any further questions about this, or if anything is still unclear, please do get in touch. My contact details are in the notes below.